Well, the gang's all here, except for Mark, who said he would be fashionably late. Which is why I ran that intro, because Mark always gets real butthurt whenever we show the little clip of Brady getting broken in half there at the end of that intro. So,
I mean, you could just show that on a loop and just have it sound like a skipping CD, and I'd be perfectly fine. I would even just say, let that be the show.
has he officially retired? Like, is he for real this time?
You won't know until OTAs.
I think so.
I hope so. I mean, I think we saw last year I think he had more passing attempts and all passing everythings than any other season in his career.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not that he didn't try, but I don't know. Where would he go that he would be able to reach a Super Bowl?
San Francisco.
I'd say that's kind of the common idea is San Francisco would be the place. And, I mean, it's not outside the realm of possibility, I suppose, especially if he's not actually serious about retiring. Is his contract up? Like, is he done with Tampa?
I don't remember.
I think he's just in a place where he can kind of just do whatever he wants. He can go own the Dolphins. You know, he can come back to the Bucks. I'm sure the Pats would take him back for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but would he go back to the Pats? Like, are they close enough to being contenders that he would make a difference at 46 or whatever?
No, I mean, I don't think Belichick would allow it. But I'm just saying, like, I think he kind of just goes where he wants and does what he wants. And
I don't think he would want to go to an AFC team because of the quarterbacks at the top. This is my guess.
Yeah, when you've got to go against
I think
Burrow and Cincinnati's defense, Buffalo and Jared Allen and that defense, the Chiefs and just the way that they play, even the middle tier teams have like stout defenses and solid quarterback play by and large. If you're in the waning years of your career, you want to go somewhere that you can have a relatively easy run, which is is what Tampa was appealing at the time, because who else was winning that division sorry, Jim.
No, I had to dust this old thing off and kick all the moths out of it just because it's like, oh yeah, it's that time of year where I'm supposed to remember the good times. And this shirt signifies the last time I actually gave a shit about a Super Bowl. So, yeehaw! I don't know, man. The last handful of Super Bowl, like last year, I was like, I hope Stafford wins it because of the Georgia connection, and he had played for so long. And then before that, it probably goes back to 16. The 28-3 Super Bowl. But I remember as a kid, every Super Bowl just felt like the biggest event possible. And everything was just large and awesome. And it does. I don't know. I haven't felt that from a Super Bowl in a minute. Am I the only one? Or is anybody else feeling a little different on the Super Bowl than they did when they were a kid?
Basically, as soon as the season ended, I kind of stopped paying attention to football as closely. I didn't watch any of the playoff games. I just looked at the results and sort of kept up with it. But it was right about that time that I had to start getting into doing other stuff in my life. So ended up moving and got refocused on my job and stuff like that. So I'm interested to see the outcome of the game, the Super Bowl. I probably don't think I'll have time to watch it. We'll see. But yeah, I've definitely been a lot more invested in games in the past.
I'll watch it because I'm working that night, and everybody else at work is going to be watching it as well. Like that'll be what we all do. Like we'll have it all on I'll have my phone set up on my desk, and I'll have the game on, and everybody else will be on their fork trucks or wherever with the game on, and like we'll all yell at each other and talk about it as it happens, and we'll all watch it. But I'm not invested. The two teams that I wanted to see didn't make it, so like I don't care about the Eagles, and I really don't care about the Chiefs. So it's not a super engaging game for me. I'm indifferent towards both of those teams. So
Who's
I'll
favorite?
watch-
I assume KC. Yeah.
I believe so. Let me double check.
Did y'all see that the script was released early?
Oh,
Oh wow!
I did
So
see that,
I,
yeah.
I
30,
missed this.
37-34 Eagles, they're saying.
Where was
Yep.
this at?
Let me see. I mean, it was on Twitter. Look, I screenshot it. I'll send
Oh,
it to
Philly
Justin.
is a 1.5 favorite.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
50.5 is the over under.
I'm seeing 51, so it's getting bet up.
I just shared it in our little group chat.
It's getting
Oh.
bet up because the script already came out. The
Exactly.
script came out at the over, so it says Kansas City's going to go up 10-0 in the first half or in the first quarter, and then they're going to be up 24-13 at the half, and then third quarter is going to be all Eagles, and then it looks like the fourth quarter's cut off. How crazy it would be if it actually played out that way?
Really crazy. Now, I mean, if the script's out, but I mean, it's like we're doing war games on 9/11.
There it is.
This
There
is
it is.
wild. All right. Well, I would like this outcome.
Yeah, I'd be cool with it.
Yeah.
I'm indifferent. I mean, that's cool.
Yeah,
Works-
I mean,
Works for me.
as an Atlanta sports fan, I can never rightfully root for anything Philadelphia. It goes against everything in my sports bones. I mean, they're just New York Junior, and there's not anything about that place I like. And Kansas City means absolutely nothing to me. Like, I don't ever go there, never been. Don't have anything super good or bad to say. It kind of just exists. They're an AFC team, which means I don't ever encounter them that often. I don't know. It's really just kind of, and echoing what Matt said, pretty much once fantasy ended, I realized that is the main connecting, that is the main attraction that binds me to any level of interest in following the NFL across the board. And as soon as fantasy's done, the incentive to give a shit kind of goes away. And that's a bummer because it didn't used to be like that. And I don't know what it is. I've thought about it for years. Like, why do I enjoy college more than the NFL? Or why, not even that, just why has the NFL kind of waned with my level of interest when there's nothing on the line and it's just a game that's on? Like, I used to be able to sit down and watch any game, find a rooting interest. You know, I like this team because of the players that they have or whatever. Something has changed to where I don't feel that attached to any of the players. Like, I remember screaming for Julio to be gone 3 years before he left the Falcons because he was tanking our salary and ruining our chances as a team. And I think that might be it, is that it's a lot of, just divas that have come in doing their thing, trying to get paid as much as possible. The rest of the team suffers. And then front offices just really have seemed to gone full retard with just making terrible decisions. Like, let's overpay these 3 guys and not give a shit about the other, 50 players that we have on our staff.
I have definitely paid more attention to bowl games than to NFL playoff games. Like once the NFL regular season ends, unless there's a legitimate chance that the Packers are going to go all the way, I kind of zone out and I'll watch all the bowl games, and then I kind of switch gears into college basketball mode. I have been watching more college basketball over the last 2 weeks than anything. And it doesn't help or hurt that my father-in-law and basically all of my in-laws are huge Purdue fans, and Purdue is pretty stacked this year. So them being on TV pretty regularly and being able to talk to my father-in-law about Purdue's basketball team is kind of cool and fun. And also my dad and brother are huge college basketball fans too. So watching games, it gives me something to talk about with them as well. And
What'd y'all think of the Royal Rumble?
I haven't watched wrestling in so long.
I wish I would have
I
seen
never
it.
have.
I saw that it was gonna that
You
they were
never
gonna have
have, Matt? Get out of my life.
No, actually, that's not true. I attended one event in LA when it was still the Staples Center. This is probably 3 or 4 years ago. 4 years ago, probably, something like that. Amy's best friend is a big wrestling buff, and he invited me to go. He's like, we're gonna get you into this, and I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. I I was on acid while I was there, so
Yeah.
it was a hell of an experience. I was on acid, and then we smoked weed while we were there. So
Wow.
I don't remember much of it. It was just a lot of colors and sounds, and I ate the most incredible chili dog of my life. That's basically all that I remember from it. I remember there being Velveteen Dream. Is that his name?
Yes.
He was there. That's one thing I remember about it.
The slender black dude.
Yep.
Yeah.
Very flamboyant.
Yep.
Yep.
That's
was
my
it.
favorite.
I love it.
My
No,
favorite.
This is before before I'd been ushered into some darker corners of the internet. So, if I was in that situation now, the guy I was with was a not slender black dude. If I was in that situation now, I would probably say some stuff that, especially since I was pretty intoxicated, I'd probably say some stuff that I shouldn't. Having a very flamboyant black dude up there.
Yeah.
I have
And
questions
eating a
about this
chili dog.
incredible chili dog. Yeah, that's exactly where I'm going with this.
Yep.
I just remember it being just absolutely divine, and just like fireworks going off in my brain every time I took a bite.
Yep.
Which there's
Oh, there
probably
goes
some.
Justin.
There's probably a metaphor in there. Sorry for getting you too excited, Justin.
Yeah. Well, now he's got to do what he promised.
Yeah.
Anyway,
gotta go
sorry to
crank one out
derail
real
this
quick.
conversation.
Set him
I
out
hope
here.
at least keeps his mic on. Justin, don't mute.
Yeah.
No, I was bastards. I was in such a hurry to get over here and
Choked it
get
out.
everything fired up.
Dude, is that a new
that was quick.
personal? Is that personal best?
That was good.
No, I spilled my.
It's okay.
Well,
Your wrist hurts. I get it. You filled the
I
cup.
spilled the Dr.
We're
Pepper
all
all
proud.
over my cup whenever I was mixing my Dr. Pepper and bourbon. And
Oh, so that's
so
what you think is
So the
sticky.
cup was all sticky, so I had to
Yeah,
go.
there you go.
Right.
Yeah.
No,
Speaking of,
I showed
speaking
her.
of
I showed
flamboyant.
her our group chat, and she said, "Well, you're definitely not getting any now." It's like, all right, well, I'm just gonna go start the show then.
I just heard
which
some deep
which
voice
group
go,
chat?
"See ya," and shut the door.
Later,
You know how
bro.
it is when you're married.
Your-
I was
your
surprised
window
she was
just
still
closed.
awake, honestly. Anyway,
Mark, you know who's favorite Sunday? Oh, never mind. We already discussed it. It's 1.5 Philly. Mark, who are you going for?
You guys probably already. This is probably what I jumped in on, but I am lacking for excitement with this game.
Yeah, that's what they were saying. I'm very excited.
You're excited.
Yes,
I
and
guess
that-
I want Philly to win.
Same.
I don't think they will though,
I don't know if to, I was going to say
unless we're to
same.
believe the script that Magoo sent in the chat.
Boy. Yeah.
Bah humbug.
I just spoke about with someone, your work friends. I love them, but sometimes you would call normies or something like that. He leaned over and said, "Do you think the NFL is scripted?" And we kind of had a fun discussion on that. And I don't know what you guys think, but if it were to be at certain times, the people in my mind that could do it would be the refs for the most part, and possibly a coach. Possibly, if it is that way, I don't think the players could do it, and I don't think they would do it. But it would. I also think if it were that way, and the way I'm envisioning it to be, it would not always work. So in other words,
Yeah, it would have to be a very loose script. It's hard
the
to
refs can
organize.
try, and there were moments with that Cincy and KC game, but it's just because all of us, we live in this milieu, as they say. So my brain works that way anyway. But when I saw some of those calls in the KC game, I was like, that if it were to be scripted, it might look something like this.
Jay Forte, I hope you put all your money behind Team Manning.
I didn't put any money in any of that. I did.
The only-
Matt and
the
I
only
were here
part of it-
together. We watched.
Yeah, the only part of it that I watched was the girls playing flag football.
Yeah, we did watch that, and Matt's wife chastised us, saying, "You're borderline pedophiles if you watch something like this. They look like they're in high school or something."
They had a women's game too.
I saw Geno Smith throw a game-winning touchdown to CeeDee
That's right.
Lamb. I did see that bit.
Yeah.
And we were remarking, even though it's flag football and kind of silly, you can still tell what amazing athletes. Just that pass Geno Smith made in the end zone was like, wow, that's not like us playing flag football. You know, it's so. I mean, I know that's probably stating the obvious, but man, they still are amazing athletes.
You should see the league I play in, man. These guys are.
Yeah, right.
Are you telling me that the flag football game is the only thing not scripted in the NFL?
Probably.
I'm still not bought in that the other stuff's scripted. I
don't either. I mean,
so think about it though. Because the offensive line works as pretty well as a unit, and all it takes is for one guy to let off his block like just a half second early, and let a defender through, or for a running back approaching the line, like just take like half a step off and don't explode through the hole, or like as a defensive lineman, like don't fight as hard to swim through that block as what you like. There are a lot of little things that could be scripted, not necessarily play by play, but on a bigger scale of the game. Like there's going to be a certain play that comes up in this quarter where we need you to let this guy break for a 40-yard run, or the DB. I don't know how many times this year I've watched DBs like the receiver will turn to find the ball and the DB will not look for the ball. They just like stay locked in on the receiver, and then the receiver ends up making a big catch and for a big play. Like when they go to find the ball and go get it. Don't let him have it, right? Like just little things. It's because it is really a game of not even inches. Like it's a game of centimeters a lot of times.
That's what she said.
Yeah.
And just a split second decision can make a world of difference. So, it's the same with basketball. Like the point shaving stuff, like the blue chip stuff there was a lot of truth to that, because you can miss a shot like very deliberately without it looking like you were attempting to miss a shot, right? Like
Shaq.
There's a lot of things.
I think those are just misses.
Yeah, I think he's just missing the shots. There are a lot of things you can do to
Shaq never got the script.
No.
There are a lot of things you can do to manipulate a game that the average person watching would never have any idea.
Yeah. With regard to reffing, years ago, Sports Illustrated did this like anonymous interview thing where they talked to a lot of former refs regarding like home cooking, like getting like the home team getting better calls in games, and like the overwhelming response was refs were like, well, I don't want 75,000 people angry at me, so that's what made me less likely to call in favor of the road team instead of the home team. And it's as simple as that with reffing sometimes.
That was a theory
going back
Raiders fans and Al Davis had behind the Immaculate Reception.
Mm-hmm.
Because they had a long conversation on the sideline with other refs, and it was like, we're in Pittsburgh. We don't want these fans lynching us. Let's call it a legit deal.
Yeah. Well, I think it was either before the SEC championship or the Natty on the SEC network. Roman Harper, former DB with Alabama, openly said that it might have been like halftime at the Natty when it was so lopsided. People were thinking, oh my God, are the refs just like throwing it in for, Georgia or whatever? And I'll never forget Roman Harper live on TV said, oh, well, he's like, in my career, I definitely had refs come up to me who were Alabama fans and said openly that they weren't going to call me for certain things, or, hey, we didn't call you on that one, roll tide.
Wow.
And everybody on the news desk was like, Jesus, dude, you can't say that on TV. And he was like, no, that was in the league. That wasn't in college football. And they were like, I don't think it makes it any better, man.
No, it makes it worse, probably.
But I know what we're all referencing was it Arian Foster on a podcast that said the whole thing's scripted?
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Obviously, kind of making the wrestling connection. We all know that wrestling is scripted, but
what?
Sorry, guys. I know. I didn't mean to come in here and just shit all over everybody's parade. Well, I'd like to take this moment to announce this will be my last appearance on But
It would have been dramatic if I just left right then when you said that.
just
Yeah.
tear, single
Coach
tear.
Johnson left the chat.
But like it was all, the big thing that got exposed throughout the 90s, basically the Attitude Era when it came out, and McMahon was like, look, the whole good guy versus bad guy thing is passe, and we think that you're tired of getting your intelligence insulted or whatever, and he kind of exposed the business. I think really a lot of that was with the Montreal screw job, but anyway, this isn't a wrestling podcast.
Could be.
It was still great. In fact, it was even better after they could kind of play within an even wider boundary, because now it was like we don't really have to hide as much and play tight. With NFL, I don't know, man. Like if you just look at some of the personalities, if it is scripted, there's only maybe 2 or 3 people on a team that would be able to even know about it. That would be like a quarterback or a coach or a key component of something, because it can't be the whole team. There's no way in hell you're telling me Antonio Brown right now would not be, just flaming the whole NFL, doing a pipe bomb speech on the 50-yard line in the middle of MetLife Stadium, a la CM Punk. But
nice reference.
So I don't think it's scripted. I just don't. I don't think that the players are smart enough to carry it out. You can script wrestling because it's typically 1-on-1 or at least 4 or less people in the ring. That the ref has an earpiece. He's giving them, you can see it. With the NFL, I just don't think the IQ is there to carry out a script.
That sounds pretty racist, Jim.
Well,
lean into it.
Right. Keep on.
Yeah, you don't have to backtrack.
Hey, they're good at running and catching. I don't know if they're good at thinking. There.
He did it.
This is a bit of a callback, but I just couldn't let it go by without saying that this couldn't be a clock management episode if we didn't have a little blurb of Justin ranting about DB play.
Yeah, that's true.
That and bouncing swing passes; those are the constants.
Hey, he's probably retired. He's probably retired for real by now, so I don't have to talk about it ever again.
But you see these DBs.
You think NFL script writers would script 2 Super Bowl wins for Eli Manning? I mean, come on.
Right.
I mean, it's that Manning legacy.
I mean, the first one makes sense because it takes down the 17-0 Patriots, 18-0 Patriots.
But even
that's Don Shula money coming in saying, pull the plug, pull it.
Yeah.
He's chairman of the board. Yeah.
I think maybe some of the stuff that people see as scripting is more referee bias that they just can't, not to sound like a leftist, but like this inherent bias that they have against. I mean, there's no way the Raiders could be the most penalized team year after year after year with different players, different coaches, different owner now, different GMs, and it still happens. So there's some kind of unconscious bias. I don't know if it's because we were black or something, but there's something that the refs don't even realize.
Internalized racism of the referees. That's what it is.
They just hate black. Yeah. That's the silver lining. I don't know.
Yeah, this is a systemic issue in the league.
That's why refs are 50% black, 50% white, meant to call right down the middle. And then they see all that black over there in the Raiders, and they're like,
quarter of them are women. That way.
There's a ref from Austin Fire Department. Who's an NFL ref. And
refs do develop vendettas against certain coaches and players too. I mean, this happens more in the NBA maybe, but I'm sure it happens in the NFL quite a bit.
Well, if it's scripted, they're doing a pretty shitty job, because the Bills should be in the Super Bowl right now. That's a perfect script
against the Niners with Mr. Irrelevant. That's what I thought.
Yeah, it was right there for the taking, and they didn't do it. So,
speaking of the Bills, what have y'all been thinking about his appearances?
I mean, they've improved the AI in just a couple weeks. Yeah, no, that's him. That was him
sloppy
in the stadium.
Script writing.
You think that was him in the stadium?
At the beginning.
Yeah, probably. It's just, he had to rep his set and be super antisocial because that's cool now or some shit. I don't fucking get it. But as you read my name for this episode, I don't know why we would expect him to
You changed it.
be like, hey guys, No, I think it's all like, shit, son. I'm gonna fucking, deck up, get up there in the fucking, suite and just do my shit.
Hello, young people.
Matt said double down on the racism, and Jim decided to really double down.
Yeah.
I'm following the script for the show. Oh shit! Damn it!
When y'all gonna write throwback in?
Well, I probably have to leave after what I just said for them to come back. Last episode of the year. I mean, what are you gonna do?
No, it's not.
No.
We're gonna do college basketball. We're gonna do some
Oh,
wrestling.
shit.
We got to do draft stuff.
Justin, you and I might be the only ones who watch college basketball.
Well, we'll talk about it.
Yeah. Judging by Jim's antics during this episode, he probably does not watch it.
Man, the things I could say right now.
I don't either. I was just having this discussion at work. I don't love college football, but I like it enough to where when it's over and I'm scrolling channels at work and it says, say, I don't know, Alabama versus Syracuse or something, I'm like, oh, this is basketball. I'm used to seeing these college teams when it's football, and this sucks. Sorry, Justin, but Matt, you feel that too?
Yeah, I'll be like, ooh. I'll see a couple colleges. I'm like, oh, it's football. Oh,
Nah, basketball. XFL is coming up, Jay Forte. I am going to give that a shot to combine some of the topics we've been discussing, wrestling and football. I'm going to give it a shot. I believe Rocky Maivia, a.k.a. Dwayne Johnson, owns that now.
Mm-hmm.
I think.
Yeah, he's one of the owners.
Okay.
I just hope it's better than the USFL.
Yeah, me too.
I didn't grow up with the USFL, but their reboot last year was pathetic. They should have modernized it a little bit. Like, I think there was 8 teams and 7 of them had the same color scheme. It was super dull and looked like it was just bred right out of the late 70s, early 80s, and had the energy. It was like, we're going to put every game in Birmingham. It's like, okay, well, after they've seen a game, they're just going to stay home, which is exactly what they did. And the environment was trash.
It looked like the COVID year for the NFL in the stands.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I say bring back arena football. I miss that.
I used to go to that here.
I loved arena football so much. It was so fun.
Wranglers.
Yeah. I would.
High scoring.
Yeah.
What was the DB play like in arena football, Justin?
Oh,
not good.
No,
a lot of bounce passes.
Most of them were air mailing it. There's just like overthrows everywhere, and the DBs looked overwhelmed most of the time because it was just like
50-yard field.
Yeah, 50-yard field, fly patterns everywhere. Like there's no way you can cover. Highly entertaining. I love Louisville had a team, and my uncle and I would go watch games, and then we'd hit the Irish pub downtown, right down from the stadium. It was really cool. I have great memories of it. Very exciting. Yeah, I would definitely like to watch some arena football. I guess technically we still have arena football. It's the women's lingerie league stuff. Is that actually? Are there live games of that you can go attend?
I have no idea. They could play it 10 minutes down the road, and I wouldn't know.
Yeah.
I
look it up, Jim. Your search history can take the hit.
Yeah, right.
Stupid broads playing football. Search. No results found. Sorry. I got to reformat my computer.
What is the okay? You mentioned 2 of them. Magoo, XFL. What's the other one?
USFL.
Okay, I get them mixed up. I don't know which is which.
The XFL's more flashy and a lot more money, I believe, sunk into it. The USFL's that one they keep advertising during NFL games, trying to kind of get you hype. Like, look at this one play, was crazy. And the XFL has more flash and
there was a draft for one of them last year, and the Michigan Panthers selected a former Michigan quarterback as the #1 overall pick. And I was like, you could have given me a call and I would have told you not to pick the guy. But they did, and it didn't work out for him.
The hefty lefty.
Jared Lorenzen. He was impressive to watch play in person.
Yeah. That was peak athletic condition, man.
Yeah.
To watch him like just gun the ball all the way down the field like as nothing was amazing. He was, I guess his senior year was my freshman year at Mississippi State, and UK came to state, and UK had that. What was the little little scrappy white dude that was their punt returner and one of the receivers? Like he ran two punts back for touchdowns.
Not real athletic, but gritty, right?
Yeah, real gritty dude.
Real lunch pail type.
Yeah, one of those gym rat types, you know. But Jared Lorenzen threw for like 4 touchdowns and just like absolutely lit everything up. It was unbelievable. That dude had a cannon, and like I was close enough to field level to like get a good look at him. Holy fuck! Like I'm 6'5", and I know they listed him at like 6'4", 6'5", but he looked like he was a giant. Even like me looking at him, he was a massive human being.
Well, shit, guys.
He would be like the Bam Bam Bigelow of football.
Oh, good. I love
There
these
you go.
references. Speaking my language.
Hell yeah. What were we saying?
Yeah.
we don't.
I feel like we got to direct this pod.
I was just looking at trying to see any of the news that's come up recently, looking at different hirings and cuts and everything, and I just came across a note about Ryan Tannehill. And so it says Titans coach Mike Vrabel said Ryan Tannehill seemed excited about new offensive coordinator Tim Kelly, but also noted Rand Carthon, the new GM, and I are evaluating the entire roster. It said that so Tannehill's future remains an open question heading into free agency as he carries a $36.6 million cap hit that the Titans can move on, saving as much as $27 million in cap space if they release him with a post June 1 designation. So I was trying to see what the cap numbers are for, let's see here, active contracts. So how do I sort this? Average annual value. So right now, okay, he's actually an average annual value. He's pretty far down.
Yeah,
Wait a
that's not
second,
that
wrong
bad.
position. For Ryan Tannehill, though, damn.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that he'd signed a contract that was that significant. So for quarterbacks, it looks like. Why is this thing not sorting right? No, I don't know how to sort it. Tannehill, $118,000 was the deal he signed. Average annual value of $29.5. So this must be the last year of his deal. But
118,000
that was it was 4-year, 118,000 was
118 million.
million.
or 118 million rather. Sorry. Yeah.
Boy, I was like, that's the best deal of all time.
I'll take 10 of those.
I guess Tannehill is the most valuable player.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Cap hit rankings. He has the 5th highest cap hit ranking in 2023 in the NFL.
Ooh.
The players ahead of him: Deshaun Watson, $54,993,000.
Russell Wilson's up there.
Dak Prescott, $49,130, so $49.13 million. Patrick Mahomes, $46.8 million. Josh Allen, $39.8 million, and then Ryan Tannehill with Kirk Cousins behind him. And then Laramie Tunsil, damn, offensive lineman for Houston. Russell Wilson is something's doesn't seem right here because I'm down in the 40s, 50s. There he is.
Wow.
22 million. 49. 49th.
So if they keep him, Matt.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so
his is reversed because if they cut him, they're screwed. Is what I.
Yes.
Okay.
So if they cut him, they take a dead cap hit of $107 million.
Yeah. Then that's why they got Sean Payton.
So does Russell return back to being Russell with Peyton as his coach?
I don't know.
Not next year. I
No.
mean,
Matt
they traded 3 first-round draft picks, 3 second-round draft picks, and 3 players. I think that there's still quite a bit to replenish there before they're able to even operate and show you whatever they're going to end up being. So I don't know why anybody would expect year one them to immediately gel and just be flying off the rip.
I think
That's just me.
I was talking with my dad about this the other day because he was asking me, and I said that this seems pretty clear to me that Sean Payton. My guess is that Sean Payton's probably getting something like 5 years minimum, maybe 4 years. But if you think they're gonna go for 1 year with Russ, and then if things just not working out, then what it says right here on Spot Track is that the potential out is after the 2025 season.
Mhm.
They can get out with only a $31 million cap hit, dead cap, if they cut him after the 2025 season. After 2023, it would be an $85 million dead cap if they cut him. And I think that they likely would, if things are as bad this next year as they were last year, then I think they probably would just cut him and just deal with it. And just rip the Band-Aid off and move on. But then you're thinking, so if they cut him after 2023 because 2023 was bad, well, then 2024 is going to be bad because they're going to be severely constrained. And then 2025 might be the first year where they're kind of starting to get a little bit of something going. So then 2026 would be like the second year. So you're looking at 4 years there. I can't imagine that Sean Payton would sign on in a situation like this without having like a hard guarantee that he gets at least 4 years of leeway.
That's a good sign for Raiders fans then. Not a good immediate future for the Broncos.
Potentially. I think that so there's a history now of Hall of Fame level quarterbacks being traded or leaving the team that they spent their first part of their career with and then struggling when they first get to a new team. You had Brett Favre, Peyton Manning. There's a track record of that. And then obviously Nathaniel Hackett was in over his head. So were the Broncos' struggles, like how do you delineate the responsibility for their struggles? Was it 50-50, Russ and Hackett? Was it 75 Russ and 25 Hackett? If that's the case, then yeah, you'd expect things are not going to get better. I'm kind of inclined to think that it was more like 75-25, that Hackett was
I could see
largely responsible, and that with Russ, very clearly, if this doesn't pan out in the next year or two, his career's over. Nobody's signing him again.
Right.
And he's said for a long time that he wants to play into his 40s. So, you know, he's got significant motivation to get his shit together. And I think that someone like Sean Payton, I think, is a talented enough offensive mind to be able to make something work. And they've got a lot of talent on the team. A lot of people were picking that team as currently constructed to be. I mean, I picked them to win the Super Bowl, and a lot of people were at least saying that they were going to be deep playoff contenders. Their defense obviously is phenomenal, and then they've got a lot of talented offensive players. And then they traded the picks to the Seahawks, but this year was their last first-round pick. So they gave up last year's first-round pick. They gave up this year's first-round pick. They recouped this year's first-round pick by trading Bradley Chubb. So they got the Dolphins' first-round pick, which was actually the 49ers' first-round pick.
Wow.
And then that's the pick that they've traded to New Orleans for Sean Payton. So they actually are, if I look at their picks here, they've got 5 picks this season. They have 2/3, a 4th, a 5th, and a 6th. It's not great, but it's not terrible. And then I'm pretty sure what all they give up for Peyton. They give a first this year, and what was the future?
A couple of seconds, I think. I could be wrong. All I know is I saw that just to get Russ and Peyton, that it's 3 first rounds, 3 second rounds, and 3 players. Like that's the total number of what has left the team. In what order and to whom? I don't have a fucking clue. You just read off the order, like the chain of custody of that one pick that nobody seems to want, and it's lost in the mail. I don't even know who owns it anymore.
So I
guess Miami owns it, I suppose.
Yeah, so next season they have they've got their first, they traded their second, they have a third, they have 2 thirds, and a fourth, a fifth, and a seventh. So I think that this season is gonna be sparse. They already have a lot of talent on the team, but they're not going to get a big infusion this year. They didn't get a big infusion last year. But even if they get Russ back to 75% of what he was before, I think with the defense that they have, I think that they're going to be competitive. I don't think that they're going to be picking top 10 necessarily. I think that my expectation is that they're going to be probably somewhere in the 14 to 18 range, something like that. So I was going to say 7 and 9, but it's not 7 and 9 anymore.
No.
8 and 9 to 11 and 7 or whatever, 11 and 6. I don't even know. What's so funny?
They're changing their names around. Mark Metz is.
Oh,
Yeah. And then all of a sudden I look down and my name's changing and I'm not even typing it.
Oh, mine.
Nice.
Hey, mine changed too.
mine hasn't changed.
Oh, it's coming.
Trying
It's
to figure
coming.
out what direction we're going with you.
Yeah.
Mark doing it because he's laughing the hardest.
I actually laughed at what Jim changed his back to. I think that was you that changed the back to that, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
Oh,
I started to voice it out loud.
What had you changed it to, Mark?
I
Before he
had
changed
it
it
as
back?
script 1360 because of the way he's been talking lately.
Oh.
I originally had Aaron Hernandez as script writer, and then he changed it to script number 1360, and then I white football squips now.
Squips.
Oh, sorry, guys. I'm not
So
sending
whoever has access to control the screen, the stream can change everybody's names. So
look at Matt.
we've gone off the rails completely with this one.
biggest game of the year.
People thought this was a serious show.
No,
the biggest game of the year is going to be a lot of ends out there.
Speaking of it being a very serious show, I actually pulled up the 2022 Super Bowl prop bets.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
We can do some prop bets. Which team will score last? Which team will the first? What will be the first scoring play of the game? What will be the first offensive play? Will either team score 3 unanswered times? Who's going to win the coin toss? Will it be heads or tails?
I did see that the last 8 Super Bowls, I think it was the last 8 in a row, the winner of the coin toss lost.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Interesting.
So it's either going to be 9-0 or it's got to. There's somebody out there that's probably put way too much money on the coin toss for like the last 5 years. Like, it's got to change.
What's
This
the
is the
overtime
year.
rule in the Super Bowl? Like, do they just play endless overtimes?
Play it till somebody wins.
Yeah,
I guess.
I wonder
The
how
way
that
it
would
should
work.
be.
So
I wonder if
if
there's a prop bet for like it going to multiple overtimes. There's got to be.
Like,
right?
would you play a 10-minute overtime, and then if it's still tied, would you play another 10-minute overtime, or is there a specific?
keep like reducing.
Or
specific
at that
rules?
point, you just revert to college rules.
Right, yeah. Super Bowl overtime rules. Let's see what this is. They're the same as NFL playoff rules. Both teams have the opportunity to possess the football. If the game is tied after each team's possession, the next score wins.
Mhm.
Okay.
I like this one. The Gatorade shower. What color Gatorade will it be when the winning coach gets showered?
Well,
Red.
if it's the Chiefs, it'd be red. Philly probably would just be regular lemon lime.
I don't
You
know
sure?
if they do. The teams actually correlate their
The gay ones
Gatorade to
do.
the team color. So Philly.
Philly won't have. Philly will not have Gatorade. It'll be that purple drink.
Oh,
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Damn.
Scissor.
Speaking of
What, Kansas City will just have Sunny D?
Did you see what Andy Reid's quote about coffee today? They
No.
asked him if he's a coffee drinker or anything like that, and he says no. He says I don't drink any of that stuff. He goes I just wake up and hop out of bed. He goes I've got a lot of energy for a chubby boy.
Ah,
interesting.
No, yeah.
that makes
I was
me
going to say
feel bad.
chubby's kind of understating it.
Yeah.
I'm chubby. Andy Reid's not chubby.
Yeah. Chubby for a walrus.
So, Buck,
Yeah.
I like your chances for getting Aaron Rodgers since he is going to sit in a dark house for 4 straight days or whatever that whole thing is he's doing.
Is he going to do that?
I guess that's his. He said that's going to be his process.
He's going to do like a sensory deprivation thing for 4 days. 4
Really?
days straight with no light. Yeah.
And they're gonna put his food through a slot.
Are you
in the
serious?
wall.
Yeah.
No, this is dead serious. This is,
Yeah.
I know it's easy to.
This is my
assume, but
serious
this is another
face.
joke.
I
So
missed
since he's in
that.
a dark room, I figure he'd choose the black team.
Yeah, he should. I hope he does.
And he's doing all this like immediately or middle of summer. Like, when is he making his decision? Or is that
I don't
even-
know if he said when he was going
This is
to
Aaron
do
we're
it.
talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He said he's going to do it's called an isolation retreat. Sounds
interesting.
gay.
It does.
He said, I've had a number of friends who've done it and had some profound experiences, and it's something that's been on my radar for a few years now. I felt like it'd be awesome to do regardless of where I was leaning after the season. So it's been on the calendar for months and months and months, and it's coming up in a couple of weeks. It'll last 4 days and 4 nights, and he'll be in darkness throughout it. It's a really sensory deprivation isolation, he said. He also detailed that the experience can stimulate DMT, a naturally occurring psychotropic drug, and cause hallucinations.
Man, if you put me in a dark room for 4 days and 4 nights, I'm gonna sleep the entire time. There's no
Mhm.
way I get anything out of this.
I'd come out and be like, wait, what did I go in there for?
Didn't
What the
Heath
fuck? Who turned the
Ledger?
lights on?
Didn't the Heath Ledger do like solitary confinement before playing the Joker?
Yeah, he drove himself nuts.
Yeah.
Mm.
So,
Yeah,
So
so
maybe
it's
you
like-
don't want Aaron Rodgers after.
Maybe,
Yeah.
I don't think it. I think it was longer than 4 days for him. But
Oh,
I mean,
man,
I don't
the
know,
idea of
man,
Spending
just-
4 days completely isolated, alone, don't have to do anything, go anywhere, talk to anybody. Like that sounds.
That sounds nice at this point for you.
It's like
Yeah.
intriguing.
people who do this to like unlock some inner awakening or something clearly don't have kids. Like,
Yeah,
I'm just doing this to get some peace and quiet for a change.
Aaron's starting to a little bit worry me with some of these retreats and strange searches he's going on, but we'll see.
It's like, just go throw the damn ball. Pick team, play for team, throw ball,
well, the
make
interesting
money.
thing about his kind of attitude of where I'm going to go, et cetera, et cetera. Well, you don't really have a say in that completely. The Green Bay Packers own his contract, so it is up to them also.
I'm
Funny
sure
would
that
be-
he would, that he'd be able to put them in hell if
Yeah.
they didn't do what he wanted with him. What's his contract status? He's
It'd be so funny if he went and had this just euphoric moment, this just amazing like epiphany, comes out and he's like, I've made my choice. And Green Bay's like, yeah, you're still with us.
Yeah, that's
They're
the
staying
thing.
here.
We're not trading you.
I guarantee you what happens is he's going to exit this house after 4 days, and alongside him will be Kyrie, and he'll be like, "When did you get in here?" He'll be like, "I was in here the whole time."
Mhm.
Oh shit.
you were in where? So for Rodgers, if they trade him pre-June 1, they take a $40 million dead money hit. And it costs them almost $9 million against the cap. If they go post 1, then they save almost $16 million, and it costs them about $16 million. So if he gets traded, it'll be a post June 1 deal.
Okay. Derek's has to be before February 15th.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we already know he's gone, but so that'll be interesting couple of months of speculation.
And he's going to be meeting with the Saints.
Yeah.
Which is interesting, reuniting with Dennis Allen.
I didn't think that was going to happen. I was wrong on that. But he will pick an NFC team is my guess, because he's probably tired of being in the same conferences or division at this point as Patrick Mahomes, but conference is Josh Allen and all of those.
Right.
I think he could stand out a little better in the NFC. But Rodgers shouldn't have that fear in the AFC. So
I really think that a good spot for Derek would be with the Panthers.
I do too.
Mm-hmm. I think he and Frank Reich would fit well together. I think Dennis Allen is a fucking black hole, pardon the pun.
Yeah, I do too.
He just seems completely incompetent, and the franchise itself is they're just perpetually in cap hell.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't know how they can afford him, but
yeah, and then it's like Alvin Kamara seems like he's got major issues going on. Michael Thomas has been a mess. They got
hurt.
Yeah. So they got Chris Olave. They got Rashid Shaheed, seems kind of interesting, but you know, that's an aging team.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of their big pieces are aging, and the Panthers, on the other hand, are on the up and coming.
Yeah.
And for a quarterback, especially a quarterback who's really struggled to have a strong identity and have, you know, really make things happen, you think going with a guy who's known for being a quarterback whisperer would be a good fit. I think he'd be in a good spot in Carolina and make them a very interesting team. So my guess is he probably accepts the Saints invite, for one thing because he knows Dennis Allen, and also just to ensure that there's competition, keep the price up, that sort of thing.
As a fan with the team in the NFC South, especially if Brady retires or just leaves the division, the only team that actually scares me immediately is Carolina because of everything you just said about the Saints. I think that they made the best coaching hire outside of Sean Payton by landing Frank Reich. I don't know why Indy got rid of him. I mean, I guess obviously you had to do something, but I don't know. I would say, hey, just take this year off and come back next year.
There are a lot of coaching fires that I feel like that's the case. It's like they had a really shitty season, and so they had to fire somebody. Like it wasn't necessarily the coach's fault that you had a shitty season. Like, things happen with your team, and you know, but shit goes wrong and somebody has to take the fall for it. So it ends up being the coach.
Yeah. And I think that's another, nail in the coffin of the whole script story. I think the whole idea of it being scripted is more entertaining than, which is why I'll totally lean into it and be like, that there was a script showing, but
the script writers hate Lovie Smith. Absolutely hate him.
It's because they're racist.
Did you see the just a side note? Did you see the contract that Tom Brady supposedly signed with Fox?
Yeah, the biggest of all time.
It's more than he made in his entire.
Yeah,
I mean, like 350 mil or something like that.
375.
Oh.
10 years, 375.
Yeah, get out last year. What are you doing?
And he gets a gap year. Did you see that?
Yeah.
He gets to take this year off.
Did you see the picture of himself he tweeted in his underwear?
I did see that too. I actually printed it out.
No.
Yeah.
Fathead.
In fact,
fathead.
you guys
Did you see his name?
Oh no.
Aaron Rodgers bullshit.
I did that. None of these other bastards did
oh my
that.
God.
6
Damn.
Every once in a while, Matt catches on to the name changes.
There's not very many sports shows that you're going to get references like that.
No.
Matt's got a lot of juice.
Someone send this show to Kyrie Irving. He might appreciate it.
Yeah, just tweet out the link, and the NBA will do the rest.
if we
I didn't know this power
if we get a
existed.
retweet from Kyrie Irving then we're going to talk about NBA at some point.
Can I do this to my podcast guests?
Yeah.
I
What
think
a
so.
fun prank to do during it.
Oh shit! I didn't realize the Panthers hired Ejiro Evero too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I
Wow.
think it was just last week.
Yeah, I've been completely out of the loop.
I don't know who that is.
He was
on the Broncos,
defensive
wasn't he?
coordinator for the Broncos. The Broncos
Oh, okay.
offered him the interim job after they fired Hackett. He and Hackett were college roommates, and so then there was a mutual parting of ways afterwards, and kind of got the idea that he didn't want to be. He probably would have been their first choice to be their new head coach, and got the sense that maybe he didn't want to be the head coach for the team that fired his best friend.
Mm.
It's very interesting. He would have been a head coach. I think he actually had some head coach interviews. Yeah, he had twice with the Texans, twice with the Colts, the Broncos, and the Panthers. So he interviewed to be the head coach for the Panthers, and then they hired him as a defensive coordinator.
Yeah,
That team's going to be legit.
the Broncos. I heard recently that Peyton was their fourth pick. It was third was going to be the linebacker from the Texans. That was the Niners defensive coordinator.
D'Amico Ryans.
Yeah, and he heard that he was third, and he was like, "Well, hell no, I'll be the Texans want me," and so he pulled his name out, and then they got Sean Payton. Jim Harbaugh was second, I believe, or first, somewhere in there.
Interesting.
And then Peyton ended up with how much per year?
Right.
20 something, right?
It doesn't say. It says a 5-year contract. My guess is
Okay.
probably at least
I think it was.
minimum 15, but probably 20.
Yeah, when people saw that the contract that he got, even Michigan fans were like, "All right, I guess we can't blame Harbaugh too much for at least kicking those tires."
Right.
18 million. 5 years,
18.
around 18 million a year. Yeah. Damn. I remember when Pete Carroll got an extension several years back, and it was in the like 10 to 12 million range, and it was a lot. Like I think only Bill Belichick was making that much. It was a lot of money for a head coach. Inflation's a bitch.
Yeah, it is.
Sure is. I saw that Cardinals said they're waiting until after the Super Bowl. Who else is looking for? Is it just the Cardinals as an open job right now?
Is Kingsbury still in Thailand? Did he ever
Oh,
come
I
back?
think he's there
He ain't coming back.
for a while.
He's
think-
like, as long as I stay in Thailand, they can't try to wrangle me into another job and make my life miserable. So
Mhm.
just keep my money and stay over here for a while.
Bama fans were upset because they thought that Kingsbury would be their next project for Saban's rehabilitation program.
Yeah, I think they finally filled out their roster. They got the 30-year-old offensive
Rees.
coordinator from Notre Dame,
Dame,
and the guy who's been coaching for 39 years to be their defensive coordinator. And I think that's just a holding spot until they can clear the air with Jeremy Pruitt and get him back on campus. If there was somebody. Who was it? Oh, if I was USC, if I was Lincoln Riley, I would hire Jeremy Pruitt yesterday. But this isn't a college football show.
Justin, is it you that likes the Cowboys?
I have a appreciation for Dak Prescott because he was a
Oh,
hell
yeah.
of a Mississippi State.
I believe they're talking extension for him. Is what I was told by a diehard Cowboys fan I'm friends with.
They're going to have to do something with him because his cap hit is like 49 million and they're already over the cap. So they're going to have to do something. And the easiest way to do it is just to extend him and mortgage the future, push that cap hit down the road.
And they're stuck with Zeke until like 27.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
His cap hit this season is like 16.6 million, I think. And so they said that he's going to take a significant cap hit because they're franchise tagging Tony Pollard. The one other opening is the Colts.
Okay.
Jim Irsay said that there's a hire coming in days, not weeks. So
I don't know how I feel about I guess they don't really have a choice. You've got to extend Dak. I would have hoped he would be further along at this point than what he is. Like, he still does some of those like really dumb fucking things that a veteran quarterback of his stature should not do. And it's even things that he really didn't do in college. Like it's like something about that system, or I don't know what it is, but he does dumbass things from time to time, and he can be a really solid quarterback that keeps them in the game and can even carry them for stretches. But then at the same time, he can completely cost them the game.
You think Jerry Jones breaks tradition and goes and yanks Dan Mullen out of obscurity and has him become the Cowboys OC?
They already hired Brian Schottenheimer.
Oh, they should have went and gotten Mullen.
The
poor
hiring
bastards.
Schottenheimer is that's a Dak related move. 'cause
I
Schottenheimer's
saw a picture
quarterback
of just
coach.
all of the Brian Schottenheimer offenses and where they ranked each year, and it's pretty brutal.
Is it?
I think this is a setup to get McCarthy out. Just tank the offense. Say whoopsies.
Shoddy was the offensive coordinator for the Seahawks for a couple of years, and it was actually Russ improved a lot with him. Brian Schottenheimer was a quarterback coach for Drew Brees in San Diego. And
Okay, that makes sense.
that's his background is as a quarterback coach. So some of those offenses that he was the coach of were Rex Ryan Jets offenses.
Mark Sanchez.
Right.
Yeah.
So
When he came and coached and he was offensive coordinator at Georgia, it was despicable. It was I think it was Mark Richt's last year. So I have a little different feel on the old Shoddy.
it was pretty clear when they hired him that we're hiring an offensive coordinator to be simpatico with Russ, to be a quarterback centric offensive coordinator, and they were good together. They were that Seahawks offense was contextually was improved with him, and then it was weird when they fired him. There was a lot of rumors about. There was one rumor that came out that said Russ had asked for him to be fired, that Russ didn't want him back, and Russ heartily denied that in public. And so, yeah, it was kind of hard to tell whether this was Russ was being two-faced and saying, oh yeah, I love him, he's great, he's my best friend, we're super great. Behind the scenes, he's like, get rid of this fucker. Or if Shoddy and if Shoddy and Pete had a conflict for some reason, and that was the reason why he was asked to move on. But I think Schottenheimer's been the quarterback coach for the Jags for the last couple of years, working with Trevor Lawrence. So the Cowboys hiring him tells me that it's a quarterback related decision.
Well, we shall see what happens.
Do you remember when the Chargers fired Marty Schottenheimer after a 14-2 year?
Yeah.
What happened to Buck?
He had enough of this, I guess. I'm out.
He was like, "This is on the internet.
This
This is going to be out there forever." There's screenshots.
I messed up. Sorry. That's not how you change your name. Actually, it is. I could have changed it when I came back in, but I messed up.
That's not the quick way to change it.
That's more appropriate.
Oh man,
Did we actually pick the Super Bowl?
not really.
We should do that.
We're an hour in, and I haven't said
Yeah.
anything about picking games yet. So
Yeah.
Wow. We're really impressed with you.
I've been having more fun changing y'all's names.
Yes. All right. I want to do a fun pick 'em. We'll go each person. Does Aaron Rodgers end up on the Raiders?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Does Derek Carr end up on the Saints?
No.
No,
I don't think so.
And who ends up on the Colts?
I think Carr.
For the coach or the quarterback?
quarterback.
Yeah, I think Carr.
I think Carr's going to avoid the AFC, but you never know.
I don't know. He seems like the guy that would want revenge, and he would want to stay in the AFC for the possibility.
That's a very good point. That's that. I could see that too.
I just hope that Matt Ryan waits until March 28th to retire or to announce his retirement, just to live up to all the memes that have been going around. You know, just
328, just 28-3.
let
I
it
think
live.
your point
I
about
hope he wads up his retirement paperwork and throws it and bounces that fucker.
Buck, your point about Carr going to the NFC is interesting because you have Rodgers most likely leaving it. Brady's gone. We were talking about Dak. Like, where would Dak rank in the NFC quarterbacks? And then is Carr ahead of Dak?
I would say yes. I'm biased, of course, but I used to think they were very much the same. But having seen both of them play at their top, and then their little screw ups here and there, I would take Carr.
I think I would too.
It's because y'all are racist.
Bingo. And who ends up on the Jets at QB? Oh, I got one more after this.
I think my answer for the Colts, I think, is going to be Will Levis. I think they're probably going to trade up for him. And it's going to be kind of a shocking pick to most people, but it strikes me that that's the way that Chris Ballard always likes the big athletic freaks, and Jim Irsay likes white guys. So I think Will Levis is going to be their quarterback. I was looking at the NFC, trying to see the NFC quarterbacks here real quick so I can remember them. So there's Jalen Hurts, Jared Goff, Daniel Jones, Geno Smith,
Wow,
Dak Prescott,
wow,
Derek Carr, if Derek Carr goes to the NFC. My answer for the Jets quarterback is going to be Jimmy Garoppolo.
yeah.
Then you got Justin Fields, Kyler Murray,
Oh my goodness,
Matthew
Carr
Stafford,
might be among the
Kirk
top of the
Cousins.
pack behind Hurts.
Yeah, that's Carson Wentz, Baker Mayfield.
Yeah. And not even to mention the backups that are likely looking to get a starting opportunity. Gardner Minshew, Taylor Heineke, Cooper Rush. I think all of those players are very much in the running to, kick the tires of going to Jets camp, seeing if they can't beat out Zach Wilson or whoever the hell they got up there.
I think another potential candidate for Carr would be the Redskins.
I thought that too. And what's his name's as their defensive coordinator? Come on, my old coach, Jack Del Rio.
Oh, that's right.
Defensive
Yeah.
coordinator. So there's a connection there.
Yep.
And they were obviously that was Carr's best years. And also, will Lamar Jackson be an NFC quarterback, Jim?
I think he's still going to be a Raven. I think that Baltimore figures out a way to keep him locked into Baltimore against his own will, and it probably is going to show. They're still going to win 10 games and make it interesting, but there's been a lot of talks. I've read more articles in the offseason than I ever have regarding the Falcons as far as what we're going to do at quarterback. There's a lot of people that think that Desmond could be the guy, but it's going to take a team around him to bring that out of him. So that's going to take another 2 years. But I just read an article where they were looking at possible quarterbacks that the Falcons could bring in the offseason, not going to the draft, because pretty much nobody thinks the Falcons should draft a quarterback, with Desmond being, going into his second year. And so it's the Gardner Minshews, the Heinekes, that whole list that I went down, which I'm not really jazzed about. I say let Desmond sit, get a proven starter like a Jimmy G or a Lamar in here. And half of the Falcons fans are anti-Lamar, which I was very surprised by, just reading message boards and
why?
Because they think that he's injury prone and that his kind of like Todd Gurley, where he was the man for like the first 3 to 5 years, they broke him down physically. I think a lot of people are starting to have that take on Lamar, that you're not going to get a full season out of him. He's a little more sturdy than Tua. but you're going to have the same issues over the next couple of years.
I could see that.
I think an interesting name for the Falcons might be someone like Jacoby Brissett.
And I could see Jacoby either coming to Atlanta because he's a stabilizing factor, or he could easily be a Jets quarterback like tomorrow. I don't see him staying with Cleveland. He was a gap stop to get Deshaun in. Deshaun's fully, free from, well, unless he's out there getting massages right now. He's fully free from
the Browns were the 7th overall passing offense in the league when Deshaun took over. And they did not wind up the 7th overall passing offense. Let's see what they were.
Nope.
Jacoby Brissett wound up as he was 8th in QBR in the league. So for context, the players ahead of him in order were Geno Smith, Daniel Jones, Jared Goff, Jalen Hurts, Tua, Josh Allen, and Patrick Mahomes.
Damn. As you said that, you seemed very limber.
What do you mean?
You just seemed relaxed.
Oh. Yes. I wish. Hold on. I want to see where they actually wound up because their passing offense was legitimately good with Jacoby Brissett, and then it wound up being legitimately not. They wound up 12th overall.
I mean, I felt like whether everybody else in the league was, the Browns were definitely on a script, because if they wanted to continue winning games, they would have stuck with. Did Matt just notice his name?
No, you
I noticed something.
your name.
Come on, Boomer. Your name.
I felt like if the Browns actually wanted to win games, they'd have stuck with Jacoby Brissett because they were doing really good and he had really good chemistry with those receivers, and it was. And then instead they went with Deshaun Watson, and from week 1 you could tell that was not working, and it never really seemed like it came together for the rest of the season. And
I'm impressed by your composure to maintain that entire while you're making a hot take, as you know what we're laughing at. It's impressive.
It's the on purpose that gets me.
Mm-hmm.
Barks in public would be pretty funny, but barks in public on purpose.
Justin,
man.
should we pick?
yeah, let's pick. Yep.
What are we picking?
The Super Bowl.
I think there's a decently
thought
big
Buck
game
had
this weekend.
I thought Buck had some other
That was
interesting.
that was my one.
Oh, should we talk about who's doing halftime?
I don't know who it is.
I'm just trying to delay this as long as possible.
Is it Rihanna?
Yeah.
That's
I
a
think
name
you're
I knew of, but I don't know much about it.
Few people make
Oh,
me
you'd
feel
love
as
her.
racist as Rihanna.
I'm a Sam Smith fan.
I saw a great tweet about that, about Sam Smith earlier. Let me see if I can bring it up while you guys take the show away.
I would like to ask, is it Forte? Is Jay Forte, is he watching right now? I'd like to ask him if he appreciates the new sort of style to our show.
The new format.
The new format.
Our
new
one
script.
single viewer.
Yeah.
He seems to
Plan and
only
strong.
chime in when we're talking actual football, though, so maybe we should reassess after.
This was the Sam Smith tweet. It was this chick, Robin. She's an Orthodox chick. She said, I think casting Sam Smith as Satan at the Grammys was a good choice, to be honest. In my mind, Satan is a mediocre, androgynous, fat weirdo, so it just works if you ask me.
There you go.
Nice.
I can dig it.
He can dig it.
Yeah.
All right, Justin.
I'm going with the Eagles. I've picked against them all year, and they keep fucking winning, so I'm going to go ahead and pick them, and we'll see how that works out.
I'm picking the Kansas City Chiefs because the NFL, I don't actually think it's scripted, but I think that they want Mahomes to get himself another Super Bowl. I want the Eagles to win, but I think it'll be the Chiefs. I don't
They're
have
just
any
doing that because
other,
they're red.
nothing else to add to the game.
Bart.
Nice. I'm gonna go Eagles, even though I hate all things Philly, only because I want to watch more of their fans eat horse shit and the Super Bowl parade / riots that are inevitable to take place. Kansas City, I don't know, they handled their Super Bowl win pretty good, but I just want to see Philly destroy themselves and more people fall through bus stops. So yeah, fly Eagles, fly.
I'm going with my heart. I pick Eagles because I want them to win. Can't have the Chiefs winning these Super Bowls like this. I fear deep down the Chiefs are going to win this, but I'll pick Philly.
I think that Patrick Mahomes is clearly the greatest quarterback of all time, and I love Andy Reid. So I just said that to trigger. I said the thing about Patrick Mahomes to trigger the ginger up there.
Yeah, and I have to mute myself so that I could give you a new name, so I couldn't just.
No, yeah, I think that I think Mahomes is I wouldn't call him the greatest because I think greatest has to do with accomplishments. I think he's the best quarterback to ever play the game, and I love Andy Reid, always have. I think this Philly team's a lot of fun, and I picked them to be very good early on this season, and they were my Super Bowl pick for probably most of the season once it became clear that I'd missed horribly on the Broncos. But yeah, I don't want Mark to be the only guy who picked the Chiefs, so I'm going to pick him too.
Oh, nice. I appreciate it.
Yeah. I mean, I would take Philly's defense over Kansas City's in a heartbeat. I think Mahomes' ankle, he gets rolled up one good time, that thing's going to flare back up, and it could get ugly if Philly's able to do what they've been doing all year, except for that one time against the Skins.
As to the Mahomes is the best to ever play the game, Trent Dilfer would disagree. I don't know if you saw what he had to say over the weekend.
I didn't see this.
What did he say?
He was talking to a bunch of old-timer quarterbacks and saying how the modern game is weak now, and he's not impressed by modern quarterbacks. Even like he even said Rodgers and Brady, because he said that the new defensive rules it makes it easier on quarterbacks, basically. So
old leather hands Dilfer out there just.
And then people were posting clips of him missing a guy by about 20 yards who was open by 20 yards.
He's got a slight point there with obviously we know that with the defensive rules, but it would have come off better had like Marino said that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And Mahomes is probably a guy who could have thrived in the old school.
Same with Brady. Same with Rodgers.
Yeah. Like right now, the NFL Network, or maybe it was last weekend. I don't know. I haven't been home in 3 days. But the NFL Network's been doing all the Super Bowl highlights of all of the years past. And I think they started it like last Friday night or last Saturday morning. I was watching the highlights of like the 70s. And I'm like, I think the Texans could destroy any winning Super Bowl team just because they're just so much faster. Like, I think the old guys are tougher, but I don't think they would catch anybody. And I think even the worst team today would just demolish the best team from 40 years ago.
It is funny to see if you look at the height and weight of the offensive and defensive linemen from like the 70s and even early 80s. It's so different.
Yeah.
I think they would just eat them up.
Someone actually added some context to the Dilfer thing with a Brady clip where I'm not sure when this even took place, but Brady was talking about how he hates the new defensive rules and how it
except the tuck one.
Of course. He threw some shade at Fields in Chicago because he said that he was watching a Chicago game and the quarterback threw over the middle and they were gifted an easy first down when in the old style game, like that's a throw that a quarterback can't ever even think about making because the receiver's getting rocked. Whereas now they do that now and it's a 15-yard penalty.
I just posted a tweet in the chat. Pull that one up, Justin.
Working
Justin.
on it. I'm working on it.
Justin is the Jamie to my Joe.
Old sticky hands.
There's a tweet from a guy that's he's a mutual of mine on my very secretive sports Twitter account, and this is a tweet he had go mega viral. He quote tweeted a guy. I can't tell what the original tweet says. Yeah, most players today would be eaten alive by the guys from 1963. They may not have been as fast or athletic, but the old timers had real life strength and ridiculously ruthless killer mentality. And so he just showed a comparison between Aaron Donald and some guy. I don't remember who it is, but that Aaron Donald picture, man.
Old Spokes Malone.
Wow.
I don't know.
Look at that.
I'm sure he's got a name like that. Old Scooter McJew or whatever.
Mick, what?
It was literally just sounds that came out of my mouth. But what can I say?
Scooter McJew.
He was one of those guys that was smoking a cigarette while he was out on the field.
Yeah.
Always bumming one
Smoking
from
a
somebody
fag.
else. Mhm.
Yeah.
that Aaron Donald though, like you think about, look at that guy. He is 6'1", like 300 pounds.
And
That's
still with
just-
a 6-pack.
Yeah, he's like probably like 9% body fat.
That's insane.
That's insane. Yeah, he's an absolute freak.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
funny
And the
because
receiver on the Seahawks looks like that too.
DK Metcalf.
Yeah, ridiculous.
Yep. Have you seen
he's
the
like
picture of DK
6'4".
Metcalf in college?
What's that?
Have you seen the college picture of DK Metcalf?
I've seen one that was similar to that Aaron Donald one you just showed, and it was similar. I mean, it looked basically like that. Where'd Mark go?
He's probably
He's taking a little time out. He'll be back in a second.
There he goes.
Why was
God.
why was Scooter McJew? Keep in mind. Oh man.
He racked up nearly 6 million points.
Sometimes I want to know what goes on inside that midway brain of yours.
No, you don't. No, you don't. It's
It's a lot of smoke. A lot of
highly
smokestacks
unimpressive.
up there.
Yeah.
A lot of smokestacks, but not very many trains.
Yeah, that's the one. That is
Who's this? Who's this?
DK.
Look at the one that I sent in the chat, Justin. It's him next to another guy.
DK Metcalf
The
is like
suspense is killing me.
he's like 6'4", right?
Love
Like,
looking at these shirtless black men.
Like 6'1", I think. The guy he's standing next to, the guy in that picture next to him, is AJ Brown.
And I am not going to try to name these gentlemen. They're given
Yeah,
names.
just good.
Just leave it be.
They're good. Good names.
Speaking of shirtless black men, did you see the NFLPA guy wants to do away with the combine?
No.
is he's homophobic or what?
Oh, is it
He
because
probably
it's too
thinks
much? It's too close to the slave trade.
That's that I legit thought that's probably the reason why, but I don't know.
Hmm. All right. Well, I'll meet you halfway and say, well, no. No. There's no way that it could be turned positively.
He says it has nothing to do with evaluating athletic ability.
That's what all it had to do with.
That's
Yeah,
what the
that's-
slave trade had to do with.
That's how Trayvon Walker became the #1 pick. Like, I was shocked by that. I was like, wait, our third string outside linebacker? Okay. Edge rusher?
For
Wonderful.
a second, I was like, I thought you were doing a bit. I was like, how'd that kid who got killed get the over? Oh, Walker.
Yeah,
Walker.
I did too. I did too.
Excuse me, he wasn't a kid. How did that young man? Yeah, now we're talking.
Mhm.
Uh-oh.
Mark, show it to him.
That's our halftime show.
I have it hanging up on the other wall. So.
Okay.
He doesn't want that showing up in the background every time he's on a video.
Mhm.
People start asking too many questions.
Yeah. That's one way to venerate something.
Couldn't have that right over his right shoulder when he was on with Pete a couple weeks ago.
That would have been awesome.
That would have been hilarious.
That,
Yes.
yeah. Send me a real one, and I'll do it next time.
I
Mhm.
would have loved to have seen what Pete changed your name to after seeing that.
I'm gonna have to investigate this changing the guest's name. I like it.
It's entertaining. There were a couple times where I was typing out a name and I completely missed what was said, so I apologize for not paying.
My next one is Jim Bob. I'm gonna put Annihilator of Owen Benjamin.
There you go.
So
There you go.
where does that live? I saw all the conversation about it, but I was like, where the fuck is the link?
On the Crucibles.
On YouTube. It was on
Yeah.
Jim Bob's channel.
Oh, it was Jim
Yeah,
Bob.
YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah.
Everybody was talking about something. I was like, I'd watch it, but I don't know where the hell it's happening at.
Yeah, just look
Oh.
up Made by Jim Bob on YouTube and it's posted there.
Awesome. Was Owen Benjamin
They were
saying,
debating the Trinity.
ridiculous things? Oh boy.
Yeah, it was kind of a tire fire.
Yeah. It was brutal.
What is your name a reference to, Justin?
The slave trade.
Never mind, we're good.
And we're out.
Does that answer your question?
I got it. Makes sense now.
Thought it was pretty self-explanatory, but
Well, I didn't know when it went up. I just now noticed it.
that's the fun thing about the name changes is everybody notices at different times. So.
if you can figure out a way to click and do all the things without moving your arms, so it looks like you're not doing anything, and then the name just pops up, that's the real thing. If all of a
Yeah.
sudden you're like, oh,
That's why I keep my camera here.
I haven't mastered that. I haven't even mastered muting myself.
yeah,
When I'm
I was going to say,
typing away,
Mark has
so-
the loudest keyboard. That's,
No kidding.
is the microphone in your keyboard on a metal table
not.
on a box crate or something?
Got it sitting right on top of the keyboard, so he's like bumping it every time. He does.
Yeah.
Oh, I got a good one. I got a good one.
It takes me a while to learn these things. Justin used to
Yeah.
get mad at me because I didn't know how to put down my coffee cup lately.
Mute.
on the morning show, every time it was, you could tell that Mark put his coffee cup down because there was this like giant.
I was just emphasizing my point.
No, the things we've learned over the years.
And the things we've forgotten, like decorum, decency.
Any other D word you can think of?
Be sure to tune in next week for the first official in college basketball episode.
I will be sure to miss that one.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to talk about firing Juwan
I
Howard.
look like
and,
this.
Maybe what we should do is you guys should give Buck and I control over the stream,
Oh, man.
so then we can sit here and change your guys' names while you guys are talking about it.
Yeah, because we don't have any input other than comedy.
Mm-hmm.
Mountain Dew.
He's getting in that basketball spirit,
How
man.
is he drinking
Heck yeah.
Mountain Dew?
you got to do the do.
You're gonna stay up late.
So you have rum
I
and
stay up late
Coke
every
and
night.
a Mountain Dew.
What?
You have rum and Coke and then Mountain Dew.
Whiskey and
So
Coke.
whiskey and Coke.
Yeah.
On your
That's
right.
actually
Mountain Dew
whiskey
on
and
your
Dr.
left.
Pepper.
That's foreplay.
Whatever. She's asleep like an hour ago.
That's foreplay.
Yeah.
Let me go to sleep first.
You hear about the joke about the guy? He gets home from work and he gets himself all undressed and sneaks into the room. His wife's already asleep. And he goes up and he grabs a Tylenol and he goes up and she's asleep and her mouth's open and he tosses the Tylenol in her mouth. And she wakes up and she's like, ugh, ugh, spits it out. And she's like, what was that for? And he goes, it's for your headache. And she goes, I don't have a headache. And he goes,
Boom.
nice.
Nice. Yeah.
You guys can file that one away for
I will.
when you need
I'm gonna
it.
use that tomorrow.
Future use.
Yep. The an HR lady actually called me at work the other day and was trying to get me to do a 401k. I just told her there's no way I can run that far. I mean,
Buck,
that's ridiculous.
Buck, you told this joke 2 weeks ago, man.
I did.
I wasn't there.
Ah,
Justin changed his name back.
No, but you got me.
All right.
I thought you'd actually.
I've told that to a few people. One of the last ones, it was a girl friend of mine, and she laughed and everything, and she goes, "What did they really call you about?"
One thing that I've learned being friends with Buck now and seeing each other basically every week is that Buck is a big prankster. He has some epic pranks that he's pulled on people. He's very thoughtful about his pranks.
This is true.
I'm hoping that I don't wind up on the receiving end of one of them, but I imagine it's just a matter of time.
You just signed your own death warrant.
Mhm.
This is
Light
gonna
bulb.
happen. I once walked into the office at my old workplace, and a coworker of mine had left open his email account. So my cousin also worked at this place. So I type out just like a "hey there" from this guy to my cousin. Not realize. Well, I knew that this guy was gay. I didn't realize that he had a crush on my cousin.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
Oh my god!
Was it a match?
It was not.
That is something I would be certain.
Did this end up like the Matthew Harris story? I mean, is the guy still alive?
He's still alive.
Hey there. Yeah, that's a good one.
Was it hey with like 3 Y's?
It was just kind of like all lowercase, "hey there, ... kind of thing," and didn't realize he had a crush on the guy that I was sending that to.
How did you find out?
He goes, he confronted me a couple days later. "Did you?" And he was real flaming. "Did you email your cousin from my email account?" And I was like, maybe. I just thought it was funny.
And
We were
what
just
did he
running
say?
tests.
I love this man.
Do what?
Did he say like, "I love that guy," or I have a crush?
No,
on
I
this
didn't actually find out that he had a crush on him until like months afterwards. I go, "Oh, no wonder he's so mad at me."
You ruined
Was
his
his name
chance.
You ruined it.
Too.
Otherwise, he would have had a chance to change a man.
That same dude, we were looking for, me and another coworker one time looking for a remote for the TV. We looked everywhere for it, couldn't find it, and eventually a
Remember
coworker
Blues
goes,
Behind the
"Oh,
Phone.
it's been in my pocket the entire time." And then I look at Doc, who was the gay one. I go, "I'll let him get it." And let's just say that me and this gay coworker had he didn't like me very
thing.
much.
You had a thing with your gay coworker?
He didn't, yeah, not quite. He didn't
Just
appreciate my
playful.
jokes.
Playful banter. Did you have to go into HR a lot?
I didn't. And
Oh,
he
you're
actually
clever
didn't
enough.
love me. No.
Man.
He
didn't
didn't
appreciate your
consider you a real
homophobia.
threat.
I guess not.
My company's having its annual company-wide meeting, retreat, whatever, starting tomorrow through Friday. And the number of HR emails and waivers and sign this and submit this back and all this other stuff. It's like, I really hope some people actually like give a reason why all these things are necessary, because it is like, look straight ahead. Don't look down unless, it's insane. All of the ass covering that goes on nowadays.
I hope they play this podcast at the event.
Oh, on the big screen. I'll say, pull it up.
Yeah. All right, Scooter.
And that is why we don't allow women in the workplace.
Yeah,
Or gaming.
exactly.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Being
Yeah,
in management and
repeat
having to do having to put on the sexual harassment training for all of my employees annually, and also working in a very blue collar industry with a bunch of rednecks from like the middle of nowhere, Kentucky. Sexual harassment training is probably the most sexual harassment I'll ever get in my life. Like, just trying to do a training means that I'm going to spend the entire 15 minutes getting sexually harassed nonstop.
Hey, Justin, why don't you show us what
As
we
it
can't
should
do?
Yeah.
Yes.
Sexual harassment training takes on a whole new definition.
Volunteer.
First, you got to show me what it is so I know not
The
to
women
do
are
it.
the worst ones too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Horny little fuckers.
Yeah. All right, fellers.
I think that's all
Yeah.
she wrote.
I think we've exhausted our time here.
You have.
Tomorrow
Yeah.
evening, Cooper and I are going to do a
good.
recap of the Owen Benjamin Jim Bob debate
Good.
on the King Pill channel. If you guys are interested in that,
I am. I'll be at work, but I will watch it at some point. 100%.
Yeah, I'm dipping out of my company event before everybody gets drunk and everything gets weird. So, what time is it coming on?
probably 6 or 7 Central Time, somewhere in that vicinity.
Okay. All right. I may be in the comment section saying horrendous things that I would never say on a show
I'd
like
probably
this.
say horror too.
Wouldn't have it any other way.
All right.
All right, boys.
See you guys.
go-
Sweet.
Enjoy the Super Bowl.
There you go.
See y'all.
Woohoo.
It's got good food.
See you guys.
See ya.
Later.